Hello and welcome to Ask the Mortgage Guides Live. My name is Sarah Patnode and I am your host. We are so excited to have you here today. We apologize for the little bit of a late start if you were looking for us, but we are here. We are here to answer your questions. And the topic of today is all about if you dream about owning a second home. That is a real dream for some folks out there. So we are here live broadcasting. We are broadcasting from Minnesota, from Florida, and Arizona here live. And we are here with Randy and Kevin Erickson, and they're going to talk all about the ins and outs of owning a second home. So before we get into that, we'd love to know that you're watching. Go ahead and give us a shout out in the comments. Get your questions ready, and we will answer all of those questions along the way. So, welcome everyone, and welcome Randy and Kevin. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening.
Yes, wonderful to have you here. So, before we get started into sharing some great information, a great client story, some of our viewers might not know who you guys are. So, I'm going to go ahead and step backstage. And, Randy, if you wouldn't mind letting us know about who you are, and Kevin, share with us as well, and I'll come back in for the next part of the live.
Sounds good. Be happy to. Thank you, Sarah. Hi, my name is Randy Erickson. I have been with Kevnick Mortgage for a little over a year now. It's been a tremendous opportunity to join such a tremendous organization, and I'm grateful to be here. And thank you for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Kevin Erickson. I'm with Kevnick Mortgage. We started Kevnick Mortgage about 7 years ago, and really just wanted to bring something different to the mortgage industry. When the opportunity came to join forces with my brother, obviously knowing him his whole life, it was very exciting for me because, knowing who he is and, what he stands for, it was really just a great opportunity to join forces and really have an impact within the industry. Randy brings a lot of integrity, a lot of crunching of numbers, and just an affinity for numbers, and really wanting to do the right thing and provide a different experience for people in their home buying journey.
I think that that is so great. Thank you guys for just taking a moment to share a little bit about who you guys are and where you're live streaming from is so important too. So I think we've got Randy, Florida connection, right? And then we've got Kevin with Arizona. So that is so great. What we'd like to do right now is it's the clients. That is like the heart of that client experience, the Kevnick experience, the being with your clients. There's a really great story, Randy, that I know that you want to share about how you helped your client, to have that connection. And so I'm going to go ahead and move backstage again and let the two of you take center stage and talk about really how you helped this client and really what that meant to him. So I'll go ahead and hand it back to you.
Yeah, Sarah, thank you. First of all, let me start off by saying I really love what I do. So having the opportunity to help people, to help them fulfill a goal that they have either personally or as a family, has been absolutely tremendous for me. Very, very fulfilling. This example here just really highlights some of the key challenges that some people face when they're looking to purchase a second home. And it also highlights some of our capabilities as Kevnick Mortgage to help our clients navigate through some of the challenges that they're experiencing. So we had a client that reached out to us in February of earlier this year, and he came to us a bit frustrated. He'd gone to a couple of other banks, was inquiring about purchasing a second home in Florida, but was being told the same answer, which was no. We found out the reason why they were saying no was because he didn't have an income. He was retired. He wasn't drawing any income at that point. So we took the time, with the client and spent, a good amount of time learning more about him, learning more about, what his ultimate goals were, and then working with him and his financial advisor to better understand what his current financial situation was, and whether there was an opportunity to potentially leverage retirement funds, etc. To throw another piece into the mix is he was also at the same time looking to sell his current residence in Minneapolis. So he was trying to navigate selling a current home, purchasing a new home in Florida, et cetera, which was really quite overwhelming during that time. So, as I mentioned, we spent a good amount of our time right up front, asking questions, learning about our client, building that rapport and that trust, which is so absolutely critical to what we do. Having the opportunity at the same time to partner with the financial advisor, partner with the individual's realtor in Florida. It was an amazing opportunity because, again, there are so many different pieces of this puzzle that we were putting together that we needed to make sure that we executed them in the right order so that the client didn't get overwhelmed, and at the same time to make sure that we were set to execute at the time that the client was looking to actually close or close on the property in Florida. So it was.
There's a few things that kind of stick out here. Is just the partnering with the financial advisor, but really putting together that board of the puzzle is kind of critical from that perspective. Correct?
Yeah, agree. Absolutely.
He had some unique challenges in the fact that he had a house that was paid for in Minnesota. Correct?
House that was paid for that he was currently or that he was looking to sell. Yes.
Yeah. And with that, he didn't really want to sell prior to purchasing something different. Or making it concurrent, or just kind of navigating all those pieces as well. Correct?
Yeah, well, what was really interesting for me was the timing. So he wasn't sure if he needed to sell the Minneapolis house first before he could close on the property in Florida, whether he had other options, and he also didn't. He was actually looking to sell his house. His initial plan was to sell his house and to use the proceeds to actually pay for the property in Florida outright. What we ended up doing is, again, we partnered with a financial advisor. We worked very, very closely with the client. We partnered with their realtor in Florida, and we modeled a number of different options, for the client, so that they knew whether they had to sell the house, which it turns out that it wasn't a requirement that he sell the house before he purchased in Florida. He had retirement assets that he could tap into that would more than qualify him for the property in Florida. In addition to that, it also gave him the opportunity to see, by putting less money down, how much additional money that he would have, that he would be able to set aside and invest with his financial advisor, and ideally offset some of the costs associated with with this purchase in Florida.
The other unique thing about this situation is he didn't really know what price range he was shopping in. He didn't know what that budget was for that for the ultimate payment. He knew he had the means to afford whatever it really was that he wanted, but we really didn't put the final piece of the puzzle in place until he found that property, which was then going in. And correct me if I'm wrong, Randy, going in, working with the financial advisor to start the distributions from his retirement accounts,
Correct.
Which then would qualify him for the mortgage. And the unique thing about us is that we could actually do just one payment coming out of his retirement and qualify him with that, versus a lot of other lenders he was talking to was going to require 6 payments. And he really didn't know what that payment needed to look like until he figured out which home he wanted to purchase. Correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And what was really interesting as we got closer to the actual closing of the home was we talk about that one payment. We talk about being able to determine how much he needed to have as a distribution on a monthly basis, conveying that to the financial advisor, and then actually setting that up. And then whether he chooses to do that going forward or not was really up to him, because he had the proceeds from the sale of the house that he just sold in Minnesota that he could use for payments as well. So it was really a very dynamic situation that it took us from the early part of February up until closing on June 30th. So about 4 months of working very, very closely together, working closely with his financial advisor, with his two realtors, et cetera, to make this happen. And the most amazing thing for me was he actually was able to purchase in a location that was a few units down from some friends of his that he would actually go and stay with. So he got an end unit. It was just like the ultimate outcome, which was absolutely amazing. Just great feedback from the client. He could not have been happier, and he'll be spending the winter down there, away from the Minnesota cold, starting in towards the middle to end of October. So we're so excited for him.
Yeah, the other nice thing about this isn't the first client that you've helped. You've done this a number of times where people have been in that planning process 3 years, 4 years. It's just an initial conversation. It's just something where you start talking about it, and it's like, hey, let's take baby steps. With the COVID stuff, there's a lot of people working virtual, so a lot of people have been able to speed up their retirement timeline. And I won't say retirement timeline, because really at the end of the day, they're going and working virtual from locations such as Florida, Texas, Arizona, some of these other locations. And being able to facilitate that from your standpoint, I know brings a smile to your face.
Oh, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I mean, to be able to help someone do something that they when they came to us thought that they could not do was absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, you do an incredible job with that.
No, I appreciate that. It's again, it's been a great experience.
Well, I have to say, I absolutely love that story. And isn't that what it's all about? Is helping the clients out, helping them have their dreams come true. That is the essence of the Kevnick experience, right? You educate, you evaluate, educate, you execute, right? So educate, evaluate, execute. I mean, that is it. So let's talk a little bit about the Kevnick experience, because I think that that is just what makes you so like different, right? And what keeps people, coming back again and again, right? So who would like to talk about the Kevnick experience? Who'd like to take that?
I can talk a little bit about the Kevnick experience, and being coming from a bad mortgage experience back 16, 17 years ago, back in 2004. I got in this industry striving for something more, bringing integrity to the business, really laying out options, and really helping clients navigate, what's in the, what information they need to make the best decision for them and their families. It's not about us. It's not about a paycheck. It's not about any of those things. It's really, at the end of the day, if we do our jobs, we're going to be fine. But really at the end of the day, it's that different experience. What do we do to, build relationships? We've had clients that have come to us for multiple homes. We've helped them right size, which is either upsizing, downsizing, or moving to a different location. So it's really being there every step along the way. It's a relationship. How do we navigate, life's challenges as well as life's victories, and being there every step along the way, which is really cool.
Yeah, and
Oh, great.
yeah, and sir, if you don't mind, if I can just add to that,
Absolutely.
I honestly wouldn't be part of the Kevnick mortgage team if it wasn't for the Kevnick experience. So knowing that that I as a loan officer have the flexibility to to really truly deliver on the service and the experience that we're striving to provide to our clients, that is amazing. You don't have that opportunity everywhere. And Kevin, Nikki, and they pulled together a tremendous team. We are able to deliver that experience, and I will say that that's very fulfilling to me. And honestly, I would not be here if that opportunity wasn't there. So it's been fantastic, and certainly relationship driven, and looking forward to many years of continuing.
So great. I love the saying where you come in as a stranger, right? And you
You leave
leave
as a friend.
He was a
as a
friend. Yeah.
friend, right?
Yep.
It's true. It is so totally true when it comes to the Kevnick mortgage team. Like it's that experience, everything that goes along with it. It's so fantastic. So thank you. I just wanted to make sure that we really talked about that for the viewers so that they can really get into that essence. And so let's see who's tuning in here. We've got hi Randy, hi Kevin. We've got people tuning in here. We've got North Dakota representation. Hello, Courtney. Nice to see you out there. And so maybe this might be a really great time. Are you guys ready to answer some questions? Um,
Absolutely.
Let's
so
do it.
let me go ahead and I want people to get your questions in. So we'll go ahead and put our little reminder out there. So submit your questions here. So the first question that I have here is okay, coming in here from Courtney. Here is the question: how do I find out if I can afford a second home? So, who would like to take that question? How do I find out if I can afford a second home?
Yeah, I can run with this. So it's really, once again, about the evaluation process. So it's, gathering information, working through the details, and really understanding what your goals, dreams, wants, desires are. At the end of the day, it's, some people want, a $600,000 beachfront home, and others want a 150,000 or $200,000 cabin. So it's really, how do we help navigate those pieces and put them all together and really be able to make it happen. Um, we're blessed. We get clients, or people calling almost every day where it's like, hey, I'm looking to do something in Arizona. I'm looking to do something in Florida. I'm looking to do, lake home in northern Minnesota. Um, you know, hi Doug, and Carmen, um, get a lake home in western Minnesota. Uh, you know, it's not about where we're at today. It's like, how do we help you get to where you want to be?
Well, and I would just add, one additional piece to this, because this is the, as it goes to the execution, is what are the next steps? And those next steps, we help pull a plan together as it relates to the next steps. Those next steps could be a month out, could be 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, or as Kevin mentioned earlier, we work with clients, for 3-4 years and working through that plan to ultimately have them execute and really fulfill that dream.
Yeah, totally, totally excellent. And we want to say hi, Doug. We did see that. Doug writes, we have definitely made friends with Kevin and Nikki. So that is totally great. We want to give a shout out to Doug. Thank you for putting that comment in there. And it is really nice, that relationship piece. That's a cornerstone value for Kevnick Mortgage, the Kevnick experience. And so thank you, Doug, for tuning in. We're so glad to have you watch here. So, are we ready for another question? We've got another question that's come in here. Let's take a look here. Okay, so the question is, if I have a family member who recently retired, is it possible for them to purchase a second home? So, again, if I have a family member who recently retired, is it possible for them to purchase a second home? Well, that is a great question. Thank you for submitting that. Who would like to answer that question?
Yeah, I can start with this one as well. So it's going to be it'll be a very similar answer to the previous to the prior question. It's all about understanding what the goals or the objectives are, gathering information, putting that plan together and helping to execute to that plan. So if you do have that family member who has recently retired or is coming up on retirement or looking to purchase that second home, really the best next step is to reach out and get in contact with one of us, and we'd be happy to to take all the time that we need to make sure that all of your questions are being answered.
Ditto. I can't say better. That's awesome.
That is totally great. Thank you so much. So we do have another question that has come in here. So let's take a look here. So, oh, this one is a good one. This one is about a down payment. So, how much money do I need for a down payment on a second home purchase? So, who would like to take this one?
No, I've got this. So it really depends upon your situation. It's, once again, laying out options. You can get into a second home for as little as 10% down. A lot of times people will think of a second home, but they're going to be living there, full time. So It really depends upon situation and stuff along those lines. So we'll have people that are moving from Minnesota to Florida, and they're going to now meet the residency requirements of Florida, and they will now be their primary residence. So lots of variables that go into this question, but you can get in with a little as 10% down, depending on your circumstances. It could be less, but once again, it's laying out your options. Most of the time, it's going to be, what's my comfort level from a payment standpoint.
Yeah, and a couple other things to consider. I mean, it's really no different than purchasing, a primary residence. So as Kevin mentioned, 10% down. You're also going to want to consider your closing costs in this, as well as your escrow. So setting up for your insurance and your property taxes. And that's something that we can help with, as well as we can model various options at various, down payment percentages. And ultimately, it's so very, very important that whichever direction you end up going, that it fits in within your budget and fits in within the the goals that you and have for yourself and for your family.
I think that is such great information because I think a lot of people do dream of owning a second home. And I think it's really great to have this connection if I'm in Minnesota and I want to go to Florida or Arizona, that you guys have lived here and you live there and you have that knowledge, and that's really unique to really help people with that type of transition, so to speak. So what would be kind of fun for the viewers watching, what state or where have you dreamt of having a second home? So put that in the comments. We'd love to celebrate you and read about where you would actually love to have that second home someday. So we have another question that has come in. Do we have time for another question?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yep,
great.
definitely.
Kelly is asking, do you have realtor partners in Florida? She says, I have friends that want to move there and we trust Kevnick Mortgage, but we don't know any realtors. So do you have realtor partners? So who would like to answer that one?
Yeah, I'll definitely take that one. And Kelly, thank you for the question. Yeah, absolutely. We have realtor partners. So I have quite a few realtor partners up in Northeast Florida, but we also have other realtor partners that are across the state. So whether it's the Tampa area, whether it's Fort Myers, Naples, the Miami area, or out towards Tallahassee or down in Orlando. So we have various realtor partners that we can certainly get you in contact with, that know the area very, very well and can certainly help you find that ideal home.
That is so great. So thank you for that answer to that question. And thank you, Kelly, for weighing in on that. Oh, we've got somebody who says, love to live in Arizona. So that's great. So I think that that you guys have helped a lot of people, not only, maybe transition right with their main home, but then with that second home. So that's so great. Kelly says, thank you, Kelly. It's so wonderful to have you watch us here tonight. So make sure to like and to share this live stream here. That this is great information that people need to know, especially if they're thinking about the owning the second home. And so, what I'd like to talk about right now is what I think is super unique is that opportunity that you give your clients to like your annual check-ins with them. So let's talk a little bit about, as a client every year, how do you connect with your clients and help them, think about things and maybe even help them get to that goal of the second home. So who would like to talk about that?
I can. So for all of our clients, we do a annual home loan review. What that means is we just kind of look at equity position. We look at where things are moving in the market, and just 99, I would say 90% of the time, people are well positioned. So it's just really an opportunity for us to reach out and say, hey, you know what, you're well positioned with your mortgage. It's nothing you need to reach or need to really worry about. With all the I hate to say the word dialing for dollars, but that's what comes to mind is, there's so much propaganda. There's so many things that are just based on rate. And it's like, it's really doesn't come down to rate at all at the end of the day. It's what is your intention? What is your looking to do? And does it make sense at the end of the day, given your circumstances? There's so many, I don't know how many pieces of mail I get in a week in our mailbox. It's saying, hey, get this interest rate, get this interest rate. And, it's almost always in the bottom, fine print is, hey, it's an adjustable rate mortgage, or it's going to cost you 3 points to get it. So it's not really a full disclosure. It's just like trying to get the phone to ring. That's not how we do our business.
Mm-hmm. Very much relationship focused,
Yeah.
goal focused. And I think that you guys work really well, not only with your realtor partners, right? But you have financial advisors that you partner with as well. And, especially for owning a second home, you really do probably work a lot with the financial advisors on that. Maybe people want to do something with investment properties. Let's talk a little bit about that. Who would like to kick that off? Working
Yeah,
with
so yeah, let me start there real quick, and Kevin, you can chime in. So with our financial advisors, you can look at it from a number of different perspectives. When we're talking mortgage, when we're talking about a primary residence, even a secondary residence, we're talking about a major expenditure, something that's going to really impact, the amount of money that a client may ultimately end up having. So the relationships with the financial advisors can be as simple as you're doing a client review, and you ask about their mortgage, does that clue you in that maybe they're much higher than where they should be, and that there's an opportunity for them to save money? I am all about saving people money and letting people do more with their money, versus sending it to a bank. So that's fundamentally where that starts, but then it goes so much deeper than that. Into the planning process for a second home, into the execution and the closing of a second home. It goes much deeper than just simply what's your current rate on your mortgage and can we save you money.
Yeah, and once again, it's about what's your goal, what's your intention. We've had clients, especially with the drops in the interest rates in the last year and a half, where people are would be refinancing once or twice, in the course of 12 months, which normally doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But we're dropping 9 years or 8.5 years off their loans, and they're making the same payment or less payment. So it's really looking at saying, how do we have an impact, not only today, but 3 years, 5 years, 7 years down the line. One of my favorite words is no. It's as much as we look at this and what you're looking to do, it doesn't make sense to do something right now. And we're not saying it because we don't want your business or we don't want to do a loan. It's because it's not in your best financial interest. So when you look at it from the perspective of having somebody in your corner that's going to give you an honest answer, I mean, I feel like we do a pretty darn good job of doing that. So
Absolutely.
And that is part of that essence of the Chemic experience, is really setting people up for success, focusing on the clients, the relationship piece, having the relationships with the real estate agents and the financial advisors. It's really all comes down to the relationship. So thank you so much for speaking about that. So for the viewers out there, make sure to get your questions in. What we will do is we go back in and we answer all of these questions in the comments after the fact. So all the questions will be answered that way. So let us know if there's any questions out there. So what we're going to do next here to see if there's any more questions here as we're waiting for another question to come in here is let's talk about somebody who's viewing. How do I get started? So share with us like the best way to get started. Who would like to take that?
Oh,
go ahead,
yeah.
Brandon.
I mean, I'll take it, or at least start off. Yeah. I mean, so the best way to get started is to give us a call. There's a number of ways to get a hold of us, whether it's through email, whether it's through direct phone call, text message. So the best thing to do is to reach out, and we'll set up time and better understand your situation and what your objectives and your goals are, and move forward from there.
Yes, that's so great. We have a great website. We've got Let's Get Started right on the website here that you can go to kevnickmortgage.com and get started. And Kevin, let's talk about the social media. Like we've got a robust social media. Talk about the different things that we have to offer out there through the clips and all of that type of thing. I'll let you kind of talk about that a little bit more for our viewers.
Yeah, we've got some educational clips out on our website. We've got a blog. We've got a lot of really good material. If there's um, things you have questions on, send us a message. We'd love to add to that content. But most of the things you can find within our cabinet clips or within our website. And we are on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. So we're really in all those areas. So.
And you can find us and follow us on all of those social media platforms. And it's really high quality educational content weekly. I mean, you guys do a great job of getting all the most up to date information out there, which is so totally great. So, with that being said, I think that this might be a really great place for us to kind of wrap up here. I am so happy to have both of you on. I do want to just do a quick announcement. We are going to have our next Ask the Mortgage Guide live. Mark your calendar, September 29th. We'll come back at 5 o'clock Central Time. And Kevin, we're going to be back here with you, and we're going to have Kelly Overgard on, and we are going to be talking about transitions, so life transitions and how that relates to mortgage and things like that. So mark your calendars for that. Watch our social media because we'll get you all up to date on that. So let's go ahead and let's get any final thoughts about that dream of owning a second home. Any final parting thoughts of wisdom that you would like the viewers to watch to know about this topic before we close for this evening? So who would like to
Well,
start?
yeah, I can say I personally own another home in another state. It's one of those things I wanted to do for many, many years and have made that happen. Um, we've had two of our children move, halfway across the country. We've helped others navigate this, and um, there's a lot of emotion that goes into it. There's a lot more that goes into it than just than a transaction. So from that perspective, it's having people in your corner that you can call. We'll have phone calls at 9 o'clock at night or a quick text message just saying, what, I just need this question answered, or I'm just wondering about this. And it's those things that are going to keep people up at night that we don't want to happen, if that makes sense. So, just having done it myself, understanding the anxiety that goes along with it, it's nice to have somebody in your corner that's been there, done that.
Yeah. And I would just say that if it's in your mind or if it's in your heart, you won't know until you reach out and talk to somebody. We'd certainly love to be that contact for you as you're looking at what your options are.
And Randy, that is so great. And so I know we've got some folks in Florida that are going to be watching this. We got a question in here that, will we have this recorded? Yes, we will have a replay available. So Randy, why don't you share, with your connections here in Minnesota and Florida, how to get a hold of you specifically, if you can share your email and your phone number so that they can reach out, let you do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So the best way to get a hold of me is through my cell phone, which is area code 904-536-1182. And my email address is Randall, Randall, at kevnickmortgage.com.
So great. So make sure to reach out to Randy to get connected. Kevin, Randy's the nicest guy. I mean, seriously. I mean, you're just wonderful, Randy, to work with, to connect with.
Thank you.
Just your clients say nothing but just wonderful things about you. So we'll have the recap ready. Oh, Alex said great information. Love the Kevnick team. Thank you,
And
Alex.
Leo, you are going to own that home. Yes. Second
Yes.
home. Absolutely.
All
Let's
right,
go.
Leo.
Yes, Leo, thank you for tuning in. That's wonderful. So, thank you all for taking the time to be with us here this evening for Ask the Mortgage Guys Live. Randy, Kevin, it's so wonderful to be here with you. This is the part where we can educate folks, making their dreams come true. We're just going to encourage everybody to reach out to you guys and connect. So we really appreciate everybody watching. We're going to have the replay up. It'll be up shortly after everything gets done processing from the live. But thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you to the viewers for your
Thank you.
time and your questions that you've submitted. We really appreciate it. And thank you all. And at Chemnick Mortgage, we just look forward to positively change your home finance experience. So we look forward to connecting with you soon. So thank you all for tuning in, and we'll
Thanks, everyone.
say good night
Thanks,
until
Sarah.
next
Thanks, everyone.
time.
Stay
Thank
well.
you.